right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron Eschenberg here. If you're new to this channel, thanks for checking it out. Normally I talk about a lot about astrology, but I've been guided to talk about ayahuasca and shamanism. I just got back from a lovely trip in Peru, which I've been many times. I work with the plants. I work with the curanderas and curanderos, maestras, maestros, the shamans of South America. And I myself am an ayahuasquero, and I've been working with this medicine, serving these plants to serve the people since 2019. And over the years, ayahuasca has guided me to make these videos. And specifically this particular trip down in Peru, she said, okay, now it's time to talk about me. Time to talk about shamanism. Time to talk about what it is to be a curandera, curandero, and kind of clean up some of the terminology around the world of ayahuasca right now. So I know what some people think, oh my God, a white person shaman, a white person ayahuasquero, and that's, there's a lot of judgment. And that same judgment seems to come from the white person yoga community, right? Let's just be perfectly honest. A lot of that judgment comes from a lack of understanding. And so that's exactly why we're going to talk about some of this stuff. I'm going to put out a whole series of these videos, and I'm going to put it in a little subfolder in my YouTube channel here. We'll just call it ayahuasca or something like that. So first and foremost, there is no shamans that exist in Peru or South America. That word is a Mongolian Asian term that is used for someone who works with psychedelics. If you work with plant psychedelics, whether that's mushrooms, LSD, Syrian rue, ayahuasca, you're considered a shaman. If you work with these plants, if you work with psychedelics, in between these altered states of the physical reality and the non-physical reality, by definition, that is a shaman. Now, in Peru, they don't call themselves shamans. That's why I say there is no shamans in South America. There's no shamans in Peru. They refer to themselves as curandera or maestra for a female, or a curandero, maestro for a male. Okay, these are the words that they use. And maestra, maestro, this is going to be someone who's an exceptional plant teacher. All right, they're going to be able to teach you about the plants in a greater depth than what a curandera or a curandero is going to do. And a curandera, curandero is essentially the same as an ayahuasquero, someone that serves ayahuasca and balances between the physical and non-physical world and can help people navigate that space. Okay, so there is no shaman. You can, by definition, you can refer to them as shamans, but they're just simply not shamans. And there's language up here in North America that's like, oh, to be a shaman, you have to come from a lineage of shamans. Again, this is like the telephone game that's kind of gone awry and gone completely wrong. And now there's mistrust in the community. All right. I'll ask you a question. Do you believe in reincarnation? If the answer is yes, then it's pretty fair to say that we're not all, I'm a French, German, native Cherokee, Indian, Scottish person that lives in Detroit, Michigan. And this might be my first time as a gringo, okay? When I work down in Peru, it's obvious to every cell in my body and to the medicine that I work with, the plants that I work with, that this is where I came from, at least at some point in history in my life. And I can definitely say the same for the other shamans that exist and live up here in North America. These people do certainly come from a lineage. It's in their blood, it's in their cells, it's in their DNA. Okay? And let me show you something here. Like I said, I talk a lot about astrology. And there's a big indicator right there, Neptune in Pisces. This huge indicator, this is a 16-year transit. I talked about it on my astrology channel yesterday, if you're interested in checking that out. Neptune in Pisces, one of the elements, and if you ask, evolutionary astrologers, deep astrologers that understand this, this is the rise of the shamans, okay? What that means is there's a dualistic nature in everything, okay, and astrology included, to where there are individuals that are using drugs, fentanyl, video games, things, all kinds of things to escape reality. And at the same time, there's people like myself and many, many others that are rising out of the woodworks right now that are here using these plants, working with these plants, and going through our own educational process to be able to get people back in tune with themselves and back in touch with reality. So this is a very different than the fentanyl or the ketamine or cocaine or anything like that. I'm using this as a tool to have these feelings. I'm using this as a tool to escape reality. Neptune and Pisces is, again, this like very loud message from the planets that this is exactly in alignment and in order. And the medicine wants to be north. The Curanderas, the Maestras, they are excited for it to be here. And when I communicate with them, they say, Aaron, we can't heal everybody. We just simply can't. And we don't know the language. When I was there in 2023, I think I was there in March in 2023. I go quite often. I think I was there every other month in 2021, quite a few times in 2022. And then, I still worked. Like I said, I just got back from Peru. And when I was down there, the maestra I work with, Teolinda, she said, "Hey, is that stuff that you still got to wear masks and everything? Is that still happening?" And we said, "COVID?" And she said, "Oh yeah, that's it." Yeah, yes, Teolinda, that's still a very real thing. The reason I'm sharing that with you is to express the great depth and dynamics that are very different from North America and South America, where you might find these curanderas and curanderos, these shamans of the South. Okay, very disconnected from the reality that we live in here in the North. And though I work primarily with the Shipibo lineage, the Shipibo people, there's about 5,000 people, if that are alive down in Peru. And only they speak Shipibo. It's a unique language to them. And only a handful of them speak Spanish, which is the native language of the South America from the Spanish conquistadors coming over and taking away everybody's, Christianity, and the conquistadors kind of doing the same thing that Christopher Columbus did up here, right? Run amok through the Americas, and the indigenous are, it's Christian and all that stuff. So our language in America is English, and just the same South America is Spanish from the conquistadors. So the indigenous Shipibo still have their language, but there are a handful of them that speak in Spanish. And because I speak a little bit of Spanish too, we can communicate. And we can communicate, and she says, I can heal you better than other Shipibo because we share a common tongue. Okay? Now, I will always encourage people, if they want to go sit with indigenous, if they want to go sit in the land where this medicine's from, I will help you out. Okay? I will guide you in the right direction and make sure you get to a place that's safe, because people see gringos, white folks, and they think you got a lot of money. They think that you are walking pigtails and dollar signs. Okay? Some people will take advantage of you. A lot of people will take advantage of you. Let's just be really honest about that. And there are some people that just want to simply help you out. Okay? And you have to, just like any other world of business, you have to kind of figure that stuff out and look for the trusted right people, which is another reason why the medicine is coming north, because we have a common tongue. If you go down there and you learn from these individuals, which again, I encourage anyone to do this, one of the things that I notice is lacking is the community. And you can meet some lovely people down there that you might stay in contact with throughout the years. But when we have the rise of the North American shamans, again with blessing coming from the South, there's community that exists within our area, okay? And that community is so extremely important. And sometimes, we'll show up to a ceremony and you don't know anybody, and that's beautiful. You're going to come into it by yourself, and there's a group of other, 10, 20 other people here, and they're all going through maybe a similar thing, or there's certain individuals in the room that share a similar thread of this is what's going on in their life right now with their work or their family or something that they're processing. And when you have that here in the States, it's a really positive thing to have that community, to have those individuals as support. And again, it's something that I personally, it's harder to find. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it's harder to find when you're down there. And I encourage anybody that wants to go have the traditional experience to go down there and do that. On that note of traditional, what is a traditional ayahuasca ceremony? That completely depends on the tribe you're sitting with. So Shipibo are going to sit there and sing to you, specifically to you, and it's going to be a cappella, and it goes from this very high pitch, okay, it's its own thing. It's very beautiful. And when they're done singing to you, they might blow some smoke or split some flower water on you. And then they're going to go sit in front of the next person. And then they're going to sing them their song. And then they go through the maloca. And then they close out the ceremony in Buenos noches. That's a Shipibo tradition. Now, if you're sitting with the Huni Quinn, which is Brazilian, they're going to play guitars and drums and maracas, and they're going to have a whole band, and they're going to play to the maloca. They're going to sing to the entire group. Okay? So there is no such thing as a traditional ayahuasca ceremony. Again, this is kind of common misconceptions that we have here in the North from just a lack of experience and a lack of people talking about it because we're afraid. We're afraid of the judgment. Even my friends down in Peru who have a YouTube channel that want to talk about this stuff, they have to have their comments turned off and they're afraid to put out content. These are Peruvians that are saturated and live in this work because of the judgments of Americans, because of the fights that go into the comment section. And it's like they throw their hands up and they say, I don't want to do this. This isn't the point of why I serve this medicine. I'm the same. Back in 2016, the medicine told me, make your videos. And I kept saying, what are you talking about? What videos? And every time I asked what videos, it was like a kick to the gut and I'm purging, okay? It was a very violent, aggressive encounter and interaction ceremony with ayahuasca, but it was actually one of the most powerful for me as there was a lot of lessons and a lot of teachings. Sometimes the medicine can say, just lay down and receive. Sometimes you got to work a little harder for it, and sometimes you got to work really hard and you're kind of on your hands and knees groveling all night. So for me, back in 2016, that was when I first started to get the calls, and to make these videos, serve me, serve the people, serve the plants, serve the people. I said no for quite a long time about serving the medicine because mushrooms or something, right? Like, you want me to serve mushrooms? She says, oh no, you're going to serve me. And I said, no, I don't even know where to get you, because you can have a conversation with this medicine. It's very, very intelligent and it knows you personally. So, in my personal journey, I kept saying no. Like, I have no way, I don't even know how to get you. I work with a lot of different shamans from Brazil and South Africa, Native American here from natives in the States. And I kept getting these same messages, serve, you're learning, I'm teaching you how to do this. And I kept saying no. And I don't know where to find this medicine. And she says, don't worry about that. I will make that happen. In 2019, when I said, okay, when I said yes, like that, I mean, it was an explosion of how fast it actually went, because I was closing myself off to something. And I was saying, I need more teaching. I need more time. I need to study more. I need to work with more people so I can do this safely, so I can do this. And the medicine responded. She kept teaching me. She kept healing, she kept guiding me and showing me and sitting me up in these ceremonies and say, look what's happening here, watch what's happening. And eventually, like I said, when I said yes to the medicine, I mean, it was in my hands within days. It was absolutely a wild experience. And let me show you something here. Okay, now again, we're shamans, the 4 laws of a shaman. The person who comes into your life is the right person. What happens is the only thing that could have happened. Any time to start is the right time. When something ends, it ends. Okay? Now, again, I'm an ayahuasquero. I don't really care what title people call me. I say I'm a facilitator. I facilitate these ceremonies. And some people, again, with the questionable language, say, well, are you a real shaman? It's like, well, yeah, I work with these psychedelics and they're my very close friends. All right, I don't eat mushrooms and LSD all the time, but I work very closely with ayahuasca. And ayahuasca is a very dear friend of mine. And I'm very happy to say that. And because we have that relationship together is how I'm able to facilitate the ceremonies as needed and have a safe space for people to do the inner work and journeys, which is the most important thing. The judgments that comes from the people that are unknowing, right? The judgments that comes from from what I see, the yoga community, again, which is, being like the irony there of like yoga being from India, and every yoga studio here, I don't think I know one Indian person that runs a single yoga studio in Michigan. I could be wrong on that, but they're gringos, they're white people, right? So just the same as it took courageous people to go learn from India, to go to Bali, to go to these, this foreign country to learn this because they felt it in them. This is the same thing. This is this other form of reincarnation. And it's just like, hey, people here in the United States, in North America, need to heal. We need to get back in tune with our breath, back in tune with our bodies, learn how to move, not just exercise lifting weights, but we need this different spiritual practice. Well, the same thing is happening with shamanism, ayahuasqueros, facilitators, whatever you want to call us. We kind of don't care. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like the title doesn't matter. And I'm here wearing like whatever a sweater because it's definitely cold in Detroit, but there's not a garb. There's not a flowy white thing that shamans wear that says, oh, I'm a shaman. That's how a shaman, like that is a false narrative. That is a false concept of a seed planted by certain people that think they walk around and float. They float around in their like white garbs and everywhere they go. It's just not the reality of it. Okay, so it's like the soil of America itself, the energy of America is what's creating more and more people like myself that do this work. And again, we've been slightly for the judgments, for the fear of judgments from other people. We stop talking about these things, and it's kind of a closed mouth circuit. Also, it's about legalities, and a lot of us these days, like myself, have opened up religious nonprofits. So that way, this is written in our bylaws that this is our sacrament, the sacrament that we serve, okay? So it's like we take this stuff very seriously, and just as serious as anyone does down in South America. And the important thing for the shamans of the North, the ayahuasqueros or facilitators, whether it's bufo, mushrooms, ayahuasca, peyote, whatever they're serving here, it's like there's so much training. There's so much training that individual does. Again, just like the yogi that's going to another country to learn something from another culture and bring this home. It takes a strong individual to be able to do that. Now, yoga is much more accepted right now than we don't have a lot of buildings with the exception of Soul Quest down in Florida. And I'm still not exactly sure how they do that, but I'm working on it, to where nobody wants to get in trouble for this. We shamans, us ayahuasqueros, us facilitators, we look around and we say, there's all kinds of people that are using drugs. There are all kinds of people that are using drugs to escape reality. Cocaine, again, I don't have to name all these drugs. And it's important for us to simply have our light on. Okay, it's important that we simply say, yes, this is open, and yes, you can come here. And yes, you don't have to spend $3,000. My plane ticket was $3,300 to get to Peru this particular trip. That's an insane amount of money. It's an insane amount of money. It's like it's extremely expensive. Again, I encourage anybody that wants to have that experience, go down and do it. But I'm also putting this out there because it's about trusting the individuals. There is no curriculum. On Instagram, you'll see Facebook, social media, you see like, we're training coaches and we're doing this. It's like, if you're called to this path, it's in your blood. It's in your DNA. It's in every cell in your in every atom and cell in your body that this is your path. And the kind of training that a shaman does, an ayahuasquero does, or someone that serves bufo or peyote, any of these wachuma, any of these plant medicines, is a long road. It's a long, very lonely. The gratification is not like, oh, I'm a shaman, I'm a yogi guru person. It is not like that. It is extremely humbling. We clean up vomit. You know what I mean? Like we clean up puke. We see people when they're sick and healing. This is very different from a yogi or some guru. And that should not be confused. I think I'm going to make a whole other video just on that. But these people are here for a reason. The training that they do, and you can talk to them about any of it. Ask any of these folks, how did they get to this position? Okay. But the reason that I'm making this right now is because there's trust. One, there's trust from me to the medicine that when I sat in the Maloka on New Year's Eve and said, back from 2016, make your videos, Aaron. I said, okay, well, what videos this time? About me. I need you to talk about me. I want you to talk about the confusions of people, the confusions they have around ayahuasca, the confusions they have around facilitators, ayahuasqueros, shamans, whatever you want to call us, it doesn't matter. It's important that we exist. And there are certain people and certain judgments that wish we didn't, and there's so much judgment cast that it can be kind of hard, So hopefully, if we do a little bit of research and understand some of the stuff, again, it's just the telephone game kind of gone wrong. And let's talk about, before I end this video, about lineage, okay? When you're down there, let's talk about just Shipibo for a moment. Shipibo is classic curanderos, okay? These are super plant people. They get it. And you don't have to come from, your mom and dad don't have to be curanderos or curanderas for you to be a curandero. If you're called to the work, you're simply called to the work. You can be just another Peruvian that's just called to it, and you show up and you keep showing up, and the medicine keeps teaching you, and then the medicine keeps teaching you, and you keep learning from the other curanderos and curanderas. So there's no such this lineage of you come from and it's passed down. It's like they don't believe in that. They believe in free will just the same as you and I. It's not like, well, I was a fireman, so you're going to be a fireman too, and you're going to be. It's just not how it is. And I'm a politician, so you're going to be a politician. And I did this, and now you did this. It's like this is weird thinking. Like, where did this come from? This is maybe oh yes, and I come from a long line of my teacher, and because our egos want to grasp to that kind of stuff. Like, oh, my teacher came from the 7th generation of lineage. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's great, and they learned a lot, and hopefully they're passing stuff on to you, and you can learn a lot from this person here who's a 1st generation curandero as well, because they're installed with the same plants, they're installed with the same information, the same downloads that are coming to them. And depending, of course, where you go, I mean, there are like the Shipibo are so against marijuana. Okay, they're so against marijuana. Now, that's a master plant. However, because of the Spanish conquistadors and Christianity, because Christianity was so against cannabis, it created an impact on the Shipibo culture. Now, if you go look at the Huni Quinn, they're going to spark up a long joint in the 4th round, the 4th door of medicine. So 3 rounds of ayahuasca they drink. And toward the end of the ceremony, you're going to consecrate the Santa Maria. Okay, so you're going to smoke a big long joint between 3 people and pass it around until it's finished. You don't stop. You can't just say, I'm taking a hit and I'm done. No, you finish it. So it's like there's different lineages, there's different ideas, there's different methods and ways of going about serving these medicines. As long as it's done safely and with some sort of a reputation that the individual has. But even then, people start somewhere. I had a first ceremony before I had a no ceremony. I had a lot of sitting with the medicine before that, before my first ceremony in 2019. But it's like the medicine teaches you and trains you along the way. Okay, to where when you say yes, now I'm going to serve this, it takes on that role within the individual. And the continuing of learning, the continuing of healing keeps going and keeps expanding. All right. So there's a lot, have some faith in the white shamans. Not just about me. I don't really care. I'm going to probably get loads of comments on this. I don't care. The judgment doesn't matter to me because I'm living my purpose. This is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to do. And there's not a single person on this planet that's going to say, you shouldn't be doing that, Aaron. I don't care. You can judge me all you want to, right? It doesn't matter. We have to. It's the same reason these individuals are creating, like we're all created. We're each other's greatest strengths and weaknesses, and we manifest in the world that of which we need. So just the same as these ayahuasqueros, shamans of the North America are being manifested by the energy of the individuals within the land. Rewind that. That's powerful. Okay. So we are manifesting these individuals right now, and we're manifesting them with the proper education, the proper tools that they need. And these are the individuals on the forefront, just the same as the yogis were, and Terence McKenna was back in the 80s. And with this Neptune and Pisces, as more people are escaping reality, we need more people to do these good medicines, these good plant medicines, to get us back in touch with reality, to get us back in touch with nature. Okay. So I hope that if you followed along this long, I hope that followed up some or cleared up some concepts about shamanism, about what an ayahuasquero is or what they're doing. I'm going to do a whole series of this. So this is just the first one I'm putting out, which is, a funny thing that even my friends and I were talking about shamanism. It's like, there's no shamans here. That's a Mongolian word. And just clearing this kind of stuff up, shedding the light. And that's what this work is all about, is just shining the light on it. So my friends, continue shining your light. If you feel that this helped you in any way, if you know someone that needs this, go ahead and pass it on, give it a like, comment if you would like. It's all good. I love you, and I wish you nothing but the best. We'll see you next time.